This radio show is a paid placement. Welcome to Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. I'm Mark Elliott. Glad you're with us today. Mindy McIntosh, the founder and president of McIntosh and Associates. Then she felt bad for her husband. He's off doing physical therapy for people, really helping people. And she said, come on, Nolan, drive me to work every day. Take me to lunch. Nolan quits. He's now part of the team in McIntosh and Associates. Nice effort there, Nolan. Hey,
thank you.
You can always find out more at wealthmichigan.com, but the team is here to help you create a retirement plan. That's the idea. It is about you. When you work with Mindy, Nolan, and the team at McIntosh and Associates, it's about, all right, income, investment, taxes, healthcare, legacy planning, Social Security, Medicare, but it's also about your lifestyle. It's about the emotional balance that we need too. Sometimes it's a tough transition from our working years to retirement years. Other times we can't wait to get there, and then we got to make sure we don't spend too quickly. So there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to your retirement. The Dream Focused Wealth Plan is about you. Everybody's situation is unique, and that's how Mindy and Nolan look at it. 877-222-8849 is the number. 877-222-8849. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. In our final segment, Mindy's going to enlighten us to some stuff as always. So we've got a fun show going today. And really, guys, when you think about it, with everything going on in the world right now, your finances need to be able to weather any financial storm. So we're going to outline some of the major financial concerns on the horizon today and talk about some all-weather strategies to help you protect your savings no matter what kind of storms are unfolding in the financial world. So when you think about the perfect storm for retirees, what comes to your mind, Mindy?
Perfect storm. I'm going to say everything is lined up, meaning that, this thinking ahead, planning ahead, preparing for the future, and having a plan for your retirement just means that you have this perfect storm ready. You know the time, the date. You can almost feel and touch what made it exciting for you to, let's say, retire. And maybe it's travel, do some gardening, spend time with grandchildren, just have the freedom to do more of what you want when you want. But if that perfect storm lines up, hits the day to retire, you implement from accumulated income and you swap right over into distribution income. And, things seem to line up with you realizing that, markets change and tax rates change and we're here and walk through it all. So the storm just lines up perfectly and everything is just, bright sunshine and flowers. And getting to that pathway, though, can sometimes make people feel a little nervous. Folks that were in some client family that we did what we call an onboarding to our McIntosh family team here of clientele not too long ago was just like, gosh, why should I retire though? I know we came here looking to retire, but why would I retire? I just feel a little bit nervous that I won't just have this regular paycheck coming in. And now, I've been told my whole life to save. And now you're actually going to tell me to spend and use some of this money. And so we had to walk through a nice exercise but remember what you were saving for. You were saving for the day to have freedom and peace of mind. And you said you want to travel and spend time with grandkids, and husband and wife are actually going to retire in the same month together. And so, they're still going to have an automatic deposit to their bank account every month. But instead of going to work to earn that, they're actually going to use some of the money that they put away all these years for that same time. So we just had to walk through, hey, the funds are still going to come into your bank account as if you're getting a paycheck. It's just now you're paying yourself because you did so and you paid yourself first for so many years. So to me, that's kind of the perfect storm. It's the smile, it's the happiness, it's really the true qualities of what's life about, and just being positive and being focused on that fruition to be able to come in the future.
In a perfect storm, and you think about it, tornadoes, hurricanes, we all know what they are. Tornadoes don't have a lot of leeway. It's all of a sudden there's a tornado and you better take cover. Hurricanes, they give you 3-5 days. You got time. Hey, get out of the area. The hurricane's coming. Still, people don't leave in a lot of cases. But that's kind of retirement planning, really, to a degree, Nolan. Unless maybe you got laid off, unexpected, or a health issue happened, and unexpectedly, all of a sudden now you're retired. I guess that'd be more like a tornado. But most of us go into retirement like it's a hurricane. We've had warning that we are going to retire, yet we procrastinate. We don't really think about things like inflation or healthcare costs or Social Security. How should we do it? When should we do it? We do have time to plan for this, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah, they don't. And, we just did not too long ago a lunch and learn and just talked about, there's a lot of different potential, storms that come out there. And, Mindy just touched on, perfect storm, be able to retire and getting those things lined up, in a positive manner, which is great. to look at it from that view, but from a different view of, what if the perfect storm goes the opposite way? Like healthcare, costs. We see this, unfortunately, more often than not. Somebody's health declines and all of a sudden they're on a drug, maybe for cancer or something of that nature, and they didn't include that in their expected expenses, and it's more expensive than they thought. Or inflation takes off. They didn't expect that in retirement. Or, they didn't expect taxes to go up, right? And that happens in retirement. So these are all things that can, if they culminate, and that, to be fairly honest, that's kind of where we're at, right? Healthcare is increasing right now in costs. Taxes more potentially are increasing. Inflation's on the rise. So if you're in retirement right now and you don't have a steady stream of income like Mindy had talked about, that could be a perfect storm for you depleting your assets to where you don't have anything left. So we really want to look at that, and timing is everything on a lot of things. And so even Social Security timing, getting back to that same couple Mindy was talking about, they came in thinking, hey, I'm going to be 65 years old. I want to take my Social Security right now. I paid into it all these years. And then we backed it up and said, well, let's look at a different scenario. So we showed them 2 scenarios, right? Not that they were wrong. We're just saying, hey, let's look at it from this angle. And then we showed them a different angle of saying, hey, how about we delay it? Let's do a tax strategy because of the potential tax storm coming, and see if we do this, if this actually ends out being better. And by the time we were done showing them the 2 different angles, they obviously said, well, I think, we'll go with your idea better. I mean, obviously, this is what Mindy and I do every day, but we don't want to just tell people, right? We want to show them this is a better idea for you than just sitting there and taking Social Security like you thought. And it's great. We love it. It's a very cohesive partnership that we have with our clients. Is never, hey, you're right, I'm wrong. It's, hey, let's work on this together. So that way we can come up with the best efficient plan. And I kind of asked him, I said, because he was kind of into cars, and I said, so, your plan is like a Prius, right? The Prius will get you there. It does well, type of thing. You won't run out of money based on what our calculations are. But if you could have a Corvette with a more efficient engine in it, would you rather drive the Corvette or the Prius? And so he said, obviously, I'd rather have the Corvette. And I said, that's our job. Our job is to get you into a Corvette. You're driving a Prius. Not going to run out of money. You're going to do great. You're right. It's not going to run out of gas. But if you can get there a little bit more efficiently, then that's our job. That's Mindy and I's job to get you there. And part of their plan was to do some legacy planning, right? So that's another thing, is we want to make sure that we're doing what our clients want. If they want to spend all their money, then we come up with a different strategy. If they want to, leave something behind, then we come up with a different strategy. So that's a kind of the segue on how we look at perfect storm in a positive way and perfect storm in a way that the government could derail your retirement. And so we try and prepare for that. Like you said, a hurricane is much easier to prepare for than a tornado like we see in the Midwest here.
Yeah, just to watch it coming, right? So as long as we know it's coming, some folks that haven't had a plan and a journey for picking healthcare plans and, gosh, I'm looking to retire, and doesn't everybody just want to take Social Security right away to get as much as they can? Well, not exactly, as Nolan was talking about. It just depends on your situation. So we want to make sure that things are lined up. So when we look at taxation, even withdrawal order in the future, how much money that you've been saving in pre-tax entities, sometimes it's delaying Social Security and drawing some pre-tax dollars now, saving more of your hard-earned dollars so that you don't have to pay quite as much in tax rates currently and later. And then how do we factor in longevity? What type of healthcare plans do they need? And let's make sure that we're creating a solid, sustainable income throughout the future. And on the flip side, some folks, might even have too much sitting in the bank accounts because they weren't sure what to do with it. So realigning that, looking ahead. And so as we watch the hurricane come in, we want to try to always be watching for that and try not to have to plan for folks when the tornado's inches away. But it gives us so much more time to walk through things and explain and to walk side by side with our clientele of what factors should they be looking for. Because sometimes what you're thinking is right, but we just forgot that domino might tip over another piece of your puzzle, that if you're solving this position on your own, you might not realize, because this is not what you do every day, you might not realize that, oh, yes, that might be good in theory, but we don't want it to have a negative effect on this side. And this is why we might look at it from this lens. So it's really good analogy as we take a look at these perfect storm type of ideas and rationale for retirees. And if you want to hear more about, gosh, how do I walk through this and create this for myself? Reach out to us here. You can call us at 877-222-8849. You can go to our website at wealthmichigan.com, or if you're local here, come on into the office.
So, Mindy, I got a question for you. Have you ever heard of the spending smile?
The spending smile?
Spending smile.
I have not.
So we can think of even Nolan, we can picture a smile because Mindy's always smiling. So you figure, okay, the left side of your mouth is curved up. In the middle, it's kind of flat, right? And then on the other side, it goes up, right? We can picture a smile. It's almost the way retirement spending works. We start spending because we're going. We got things to do, things we want to do, travel and the like, and then things slow down a little bit. Then all of a sudden our smile starts back up, and it's not because we're happy. It's because now we got medical costs. I mean, that's kind of how I think retirement spending goes. Would you buy that?
Yeah, I would buy that. And I even think as we take a look at the curve, right? So you're going to retire. I always try to plan to have folks be spending what they are now, if not a little bit more. They have time to be able to do things that gave them the smile or that will give them the smile as they're looking at that. And then maybe later, in time. So they're currently doing things, traveling, bucket list items, living within their means, but doing more things while they're feeling well. And in those go-go years, and then you might transition to more of the slow-go years and seeing some things kind of make some changes as we walk through that. So that's a neat analogy. Good way to look at it.
So here's the deal. Mindy and Nolan and the team at McIntosh and Associates are here to help walk you through the dream-focused wealth plan. It starts with a discovery meeting. They need to find out more about you, your hopes, your dreams, your bucket list, things you want to do, and then figure out, okay, where's your income going to come from? What about your investment strategies? Are you taking the right amount of risk? Too much? Not enough for your situation? Tax efficient strategies. We know we're over $31 trillion in debt as a nation. Tax is probably not going down anytime soon. Health, long-term care planning, legacy and estate planning. What about Social Security? It's in the income part. What about Medicare? It's in the healthcare part. A lot of moving pieces here. Call Mindy Nolan and the team at McIntosh and Associates to get started, because you got time on your side right now. Maybe you're 5 years out. Maybe you're 10 years out. The idea is, where are you on that road to retirement? Can I retire? When can I retire? The number, 877-222-8849. No cost, no obligation, no pressure. The team is here to help if they can. 877-222-8849. We're talking about all-weather retirement strategy today on the program. We got more to get to. Wealth Michigan with the McIntosh is back right after this. Welcome back to Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes, Mindy and Nolan. You can always go to the website to learn more, wealthmichigan.com, wealthmichigan.com. The team is here to help you come up with that dream-focused wealth plan for your retirement. Income, investment, taxes, healthcare, legacy planning. A lot of moving pieces. Social Security, Medicare is in there as well. If you have questions about that, maybe you're getting closer to retirement, maybe you're already retired, you're like, I don't know if this is exactly what I was thinking it was going to be like. 877-222-8849, 877-222-8849. I'm Mark Elliott. Glad you're with us. High inflation and the possibility of higher taxes are common themes in today's economic climate. According to The Balance, one of the most important things you can do to help protect yourself against rising prices is to get the most out of your Social Security benefits. And that's really another key component of an all-weather retirement strategy, because it's about income in retirement, right, Nolan? I mean, that's kind of where the dream-focused wealth plan starts, is trying to figure out income. How do we replace those paychecks that are no longer coming in, right?
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of people don't realize that kind of analogy we use is that three-legged stool when we look at income. And when clients come in and prospective clients come in, we really like to show a visual of how, what our income needs are and what our, wants are, right? So income needs are always going to be food, water, gas. It's something you're going to have to pay for as long as you're, breathing on the face of this earth. You're going to need to pay for those things every single day. Where wants are going to be, I want to go on vacation. I want to have, a new car. I want a second home, stuff like that. Those are wants. You don't have to have those. And so, we try and separate those. And so for our income plans, we say, okay, if we had a three-legged stool, if you can picture that in your mind, it used to be the three-legged stool was Social Security, which is still around, all right? And obviously Social Security, a lot of people got really excited this year because they got an 8.7% increase on their Social Security, which biggest hike they've seen in over 40 years, which is, I would say, not typical, right? And it was driven by inflation. So I wouldn't expect an 8.7%, cost of living adjustment in Social Security in the future anytime soon. So that was one of the legs. The second leg always used to be pension. Well, we all know those are gone, and most companies are taking those away if they even had them. And then the third leg of the stool was savings, or, funds that, you've kind of stacked away, for rainy days. The three-legged stool, as of we see it currently, is broken. So the income stream is where we start creating, we kind of call it a private pension, if you want to call it that way. And a lot of people don't realize that pensions are funded by, hedge fund managers a lot of times, and they are usually invested. And so that way they can keep up with inflation and, guarantee the payouts to their constituents that are literally taking income from that. And so how do we create that for you, right? If you're no longer getting a pension anymore, then how do we create that three-legged stool? We don't want to have a wobbly stool, because a wobbly stool obviously does not last long if you're going to sit on it. So that income stream is so important. And the strategies are, there's million different ways on strategies on how we look at this and how we can do that. And that's why it's so important, we feel, that our clients and prospective clients always meet with a holistic planner, not somebody that just grows assets. Because somebody that just can grow your assets, that's great, but it doesn't necessarily give you income in retirement, and possibly could run out of money if the market does what it did in 2022 and possibly what it may do in 2023. So we really try and look at that and say, okay, how can we create steady, stable income that's not reliant on the market per se to give you that income for life and protects you in case, there's a rainy day where you need that income and it's not, in the market. So we really think that's the first step, right? We need to get the income set. After that, we start looking at other strategies and saying, okay, is there tax efficient strategies we need to look at? What else do we need to do to help hedge inflation? And that's shifted, right? Throughout all these years, if we don't equate for inflation, that can be a big deal. If we say that expenses aren't going to go up in retirement, that's not necessarily true. Most of the time they do. And getting back to the smiley face, it is very true that you will spend more typically. This is what we see in your go-go years. You're going to spend more because obviously you're able to have more time to do that and you're physically capable. Then you got the, kind of where it goes down a little bit where you're kind of in transition, right? You can't go as much because you're physically not capable, but you're still quite healthy to where you're not, eaten up by healthcare costs. And then on the opposite side of that smile, it increases again because healthcare costs will go up. It will, just because as we get older, things start to pop up. Just all there is. That's just part of life. So we really try and get that set for life. So that way, when we have those lulls, we're still having a steady stream of income coming in. So that way we can prepare for the next phase of life. So really that income stream is an important piece of that puzzle. And so we try and solve for that right off the gate. So if you don't have an income plan, very easily we can come up with some strategies for you. 877-222-8849 to get an income plan in your hands.
Mindy, Nolan talked about the cost of living adjustment for Social Security recipients this year was 8.7%. Last year was 5.9%. But if you go back to 2010, 2011, it was zero cost of living. Kind of, I think it does make the point that Nolan was making. You can't guarantee you're going to get that. 2016, zero. I mean, it's crazy. 2010 to 2021, the largest cost of living adjustment for Social Security was back in 2012 at 3.6 until last year's 5.9, this year's 8.7. Do people, because you said that earlier in this program, Mindy, where people go, you know what, I think I'm just going to take it. I'm not sure it's going to be there, so I think I'll just take it. The problem is Social Security, we tend to look at it in a vacuum, I think. We don't really take it in with all the other stuff we have, IRAs, 401ks, all the stuff that we can accumulate. Social Security's got to be figured in with all of that, doesn't it? Not just by itself.
It does. And, the tough part is even when people are getting these cost of living increases and raises on that, they're not always seeing that that's keeping up to the cost of living. And on the flip side of that, we have to be careful with those that are getting the adjustment. What in general years is happening to even, let's say, their Medicare Part B premium if they're, of Medicare eligible age as well. So a lot of times when we were seeing the cost of living adjustment go up, Medicare Part B was going up. Folks weren't receiving any extra funds per se in that check and in that deposit. And so we really need to factor that in with all of their costs. And so,
well, last year, Mindy, with the way the markets went and inflation, the way it was going out of control, that 5.9% cost of living adjustment for Social Security, basically you had used all of that adjustment by August, and the rest of the time you were behind. This year they didn't raise the Medicare Premium Part B, but there's still other costs involved.
Yeah, and with that B did go down slightly this year, which was, nice, and clients and folks were happy about that, but it's not the do all end all, and we have to be careful. And, folks, average earners, let's say you're still working right now, Social Security only might be, 40% or so of pre-retirement wages. And how are we going to offset that? So most of you that are listening, I think some folks either have the general tendency that say, whenever we retire or as early as possible, we want to take it then. But what happens with taxes? How much does my Social Security tax? What can I earn for income? Do I have reductions? And I think that it's really important to let us run through the different options for you, because there is a lot of different variables and variations that I want you to think about and to consider before just turning on Social Security. We will do a complimentary analysis to help you folks that are listening. And what we can do then is we'll sort through the options for you. We'll talk to you about your current health, longevity, current income, possible future income, what your goals are. And then that way we can, really dive in and select the most appropriate time for you to start taking the benefits to make sure you're not missing out on a lot of funds throughout the rest of your lifetime. You might have 35 years, 40 years in retirement using this Social Security benefit strategy. So let's make sure that we do it right. We are happy, like I said, to do that complimentary review. We'll get you a Social Security timing report in your hands. We can run different scenario choices. Reach out to us here at 877-222-8849. That way we can take a look at this for you and help you decide what truly is the best and kind of walk through that hand in hand and educate it. Just because so many folks don't realize that there's different claiming scenarios, but let's make sure that we find the best one for, your living situation. So call us here. Let's get that set up for you on that Social Security analysis.
So Social Security, there is a lot of options available. And if you're married, it's really a big decision because don't forget, when you lose a spouse, the higher of the two Social Securities moves to the surviving spouse, the lower one goes away. So there's a lot of moving parts here that we kind of can maybe rush through this and make decisions. Well, I don't know what's going to be here. I'm going to take it now. Nolan, when you think about all the moving parts, and that's why the Dream Focused Wealth Plan really is looking at the holistic picture of all things really that can affect the individual or the couple you're sitting down with talking about their retirement. Because maybe I want to move some money from my IRA or my 401k into the Roth world. And let's say I'm going to do it at 63. Well, wait, Medicare's got a 2-year look back. There's always something else that can affect something else. Everything's kind of tied together, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And I would suggest that sometimes it's worth taking that what's called IRMA or Medicare tax. We've done that with clients. It depends. Because at least we know what we're paying in 2 years to Medicare. We don't know what we're going to be paying in 2 years in taxes. So sometimes it makes sense for the client, sometimes it doesn't. And again, this is why we partner with our clients. Whatever they're comfortable with, we present ideas, and then we kind of run with it and say, this is what we think is the best idea. What do you think? And if they say, hey, I get it. I understand that in a couple of years I might have a special Medicare tax because we know the tax storm's coming. Some people say, I just don't know if I'm comfortable. Let's get up to that limit to be able to do that. And then, we'll maybe, revisit that, next year or something of that nature. So we always work with our clients and make sure that we're looking at strategies. And to be fairly honest, people think that we're here to try and, do things and think that it's going to save them a couple bucks. Strategies that we use can save people hundreds of thousands of dollars possibly. I mean, that's amazing how much we can do just on sometimes withdrawal orders. Sometimes it is tax, forecasting and trying to get, into some after-tax entities like Roths or things of that nature, or, just timing out Social Security. So all the strategies that clients come in sometimes are like, my head's spinning, with all the stuff. And so Mindy and I are so used to it. We're just like, this is how it needs to go. We still try and, do it in layman's terms, meaning making sure that when you come in, you visually can see why we're doing and constructing the plan for you that we're doing. And it's not to make people's heads spin. It's just, it's so hard to wrap your mind around that just, if we implement different strategies, how it can make a significant difference in your overall retirement journey. It's a huge deal. So for us, we're always looking with our clients and saying, this strategy looks better than this strategy and this strategy. And honestly, people think that, I think they come in, we do a discovery visit with our clients, and we tell people, hey, we're going to go to work. And I think sometimes people think that we spend an hour on these portfolios and say, oh, this is what we came up with a plan. No, as a team, we have a financial team here, and we get our heads together. And sometimes we spend hours on these to get our clients in the most efficient strategies that we can get them in. And I think that shows when the client comes in and we say, hey, these are the different strategies that we kind of ran, and this is what we think is the most efficient strategy. What do you think? I think they realize that, we spent some time and really figuring out what's best for the client because of what they've shared with us on that discovery visit. So 877-222-8849. If you want to see how we implement a lot of these different strategies for our clients, then it just takes a phone call to be able to do that.
877-222-8849. No cost, no obligation, no pressure either. They're here to help if they can. 877-222-8849. Back with more of Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Mindy and Nolan back right after this.
According to the U.S. debt clock, in the time you hear this commercial, our nation's debt will go up by $1.5 million. That's $2 billion a day, $15 billion a week. Right now, our debt is more than $30 trillion and climbing fast. The question is, how do we pay it off? The answer is increasing taxes. Now, think about your retirement accounts. Do you want to pay taxes on some of that money now, when rates are historically low, or later, when rates are potentially higher? Whether you should pay taxes now or in retirement depends on a lot of things. Mindy and Nolan McIntosh and the team at McIntosh & Associates know what to look for. Mindy and Nolan can help you create a plan so your retirement is as tax efficient as possible. Call 877-222-8849. to set up a visit with Mindy and Nolan McIntosh and McIntosh and Associates. That's 877-222-8849. Firm offers insurance services and may not give tax advice. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Schedule your complimentary first visit with the McIntoshes right now. Call 877-222-8849. That's 877-222-8849.
Welcome back to Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Mindy started the company back in 2004. Nolan, obviously a big part of this team as well. You can find out more on the website wealthmichigan.com, wealthmichigan.com. I'm Mark Elliott. Any questions, concerns you may have? Hey, Mindy, Nolan, can I retire? Well, when can I retire? Do I have enough? Will my money last as long as I do? Really big questions. At the end of the day, you want to know if we retire, will I or will we be okay? That's what we really want to know. And that's really what a retirement planning firm is all about. McIntosh & Associates here to help you figure that out. 877-222-8849 is the number if you have questions, want to learn more. 877-222-8849. So a lot of us are trying to figure out, okay, can we retire? Well, when can we retire? Inflation has been a big issue. Obviously, the market's being so bumpy in 2022, only the third time in history, stocks and bonds down in the same calendar year. The other 2 years, 1931, 1969. So it doesn't happen often. Markets are going to be bumpy for a while, it looks like. So volatility is an issue. We think taxes are going to be going up here very soon. We know the tax law that went into play in 2018 ends at the end of 2025, 2026. In theory, unless Congress does something different, we're going back to the 17 rates and brackets, so everybody's taxes are going up. So there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to retirement. That's how the team at McIntosh & Associates certainly looks at it. But there's got to be strategies involved, and it's not always about money, right, Mindy? I mean, sometimes it's about our emotional well-being. Mm-hmm. Some have a hard time moving from working to retirement. Others can't wait to get there.
I think the biggest thing is we really need to take a look at not only day by day, but week by week. And where is your energy line? I talk about that a lot, right? So life, we're pretty spiritual and such, but I think life should be, how positive can we look at today's outlook, right? So everybody has a different lens to look through. And where is their energy being created? Is it going and solving a solution for someone at work, feeling like they're getting checklists done? You know, everybody has a different viewpoint there. Is it that they get to work with a group of people that they like, or have they done it for a certain number of years and now they want to move on, or does something feel like a pain point, or maybe they're doing a lot of physical labor? So we really need to focus first on how are they feeling at the heart of the issue? Where would they be the most comfortable, and what gives them their energy? From there, we then take that viewpoint. I always focus on that first. And then we start going to work on, all right, well, let's take a look at, where are you working? How is your health? What do we need to look at from aspects of where's your current income right now? What's your expenses look like? Do you still have some debt loads you're, having to get out from under? Or are you two living well within your means? Or are you single? What, are you going to move to another state? And all these factors that I think are very, very important so that we can then help work with them on what we call their dream focused wealth plan of, what does current and future income look like? Yes, we have to look out for inflation and taxes. Have they saved readily for the future? And did they use, pre or post tax dollars to do so? And so I think it's so important to walk through these different pieces of the puzzle to solve with them and look through these different lenses and making sure that what are they focused on? Can we help them to successfully gain that now? Do we need to wait later for a particular, healthcare reason, income reason, expense reason, and walk alongside of them? So if you're just wondering, hey, these are my goals, this is what's on my mind, let's have a conversation. Share it with somebody. Reach out to us here, 877-222-8849. We'd love to just know what you're thinking and see if we can help walk through that together.
And I think Mindy made some good points there. And I think a lot of people, there's a differentiation. There really is. Between a financial planner and a retirement planner. Okay, a financial planner typically is going to say, okay, give me some money and I'll grow your assets. That's a financial planner. A retirement specialist or retirement planner like we are does a lot of different things and makes the consideration of not just growing your assets, right? What are your tax implications, right? Because tax implications can make a significant difference in your retirement outcomes. Because Mindy and I talk with clients all the time. I ask them, I say, are you okay if your accounts right now took a 26% hit? like literally lost 26% right off the top and you couldn't control it. And we're like, well, of course not. Why would we want to take a 26%, haircut off of our retirement plan that we've tried to put into place, all these years? I said, well, looking at your, where you're at for pre-tax entities, you have a 26% haircut, meaning you're in the 22% tax bracket and a 4.25 Michigan state tax. That's 26% that you can't control. No control. At least in the market, you can control some things, or in your retirement plan, you can control some things. But if you're in that tax bubble, you're in trouble. It's a 26% haircut. And that's with tax dollars today, not what's going to happen in the future. So taxes are important in retirement. Time horizon, right? Sometimes if you were working with an advisor that doesn't know when or what you want to do in retirement, they're just going to continue to grow your assets, and they're going to continue to have the same risk that you had when you first started with them. So sometimes that you need to ask the question, what is your time horizon? That changes our strategies for our clients, because obviously it's one of those things we don't want to necessarily assume more risk when we're getting closer to using those assets for dispersion. And another thing is what is your risk tolerance, right? Some people are still riskier in retirement and some people aren't, right? We have to ask those questions. That has to be something up to date. If you're just going and they're saying, hey, and you meet with your advisor and they're just talking about performance, they're an advisor. They're not a retirement planner. Our goal is to say, hey, how did this feel? Did your risk tolerance feel like it was within your strategy? And it's not about growth. It's about how are we looking at those other things as well on top of, getting performance. Not that it's not important, but it's not, in our opinion, the most important thing, particularly if you're closer to those retirement years. You've won the game. Now, how do we protect that? How do we protect how you've worked so hard all these years to help you get into that next phase of life? And then obviously keeping things up to date. Some people literally will have beneficiaries that they put in place, and maybe there's a divorce and they still have an ex-husband on there. We've seen it. We have seen it. Maybe just keeping some of those things up to date is a big thing that, we need to kind of look for to make sure that our clients are making sure that if something happened to them, that, their wishes are met from there. And so those are all different things that differentiate us, in my opinion, from a advisor to a retirement planner, because there is a difference. And so on our doors, you see that we're not financial planners, we're retirement planners. Big difference there, and I think that's the key there. So 877-222-8849, if you want to meet with a retirement planner, I think we're obviously a perfect fit.
Income, investment, taxes, healthcare, legacy planning, Medicare, Social Security. There's a lot of moving pieces, and a lot of them we really haven't had to deal with during our working years. So this is a great opportunity for you to sit down with the team for no cost at McIntosh & Associates, 877-222-8849. And one of the other big differential parts, I think, for retirement planners like McIntosh & Associates, Mindy, is when you go through the Dream Focused Wealth Plan, it starts with a discovery, then you analyze, then you figure out a solution that's best for whomever you're sitting down with, then you implement the strategy. But the one key area is that things are going to change, and this plan changes with your clients, right?
It sure does, and it's ever-changing, right? Even some of the ways that we look at day-to-day living and going to work and contributing, and then all of a sudden folks, come in the office and we have a visit, and we usually talk through a different lens of how you're contributing to your retirement accounts, right? Future tax liabilities versus current, and let's take a look and see if you have a Roth component and going after tax to grow some items tax-free. So as we look through all of this, and then there might be things that just show up and come up out of the blue, and we've planned and prepared for them. So sometimes retirement comes, we have everything planned and prepared for, and they decide to move to another state. Okay, so let's now look at tax changes, expense changes. Are they selling a home? Other folks might have an inheritance that they step into. And even on the flip side, somebody might now need some extensive medical care. Maybe it's a long-term care facility, or it's an increased coverage for a Part D and expensive medications. So how is the income plan and the protected portion of their retirement going to help them walk through these, maybe more medical journeys? So we just shift of what we've planned and prepared for inside of their retirement plan to make sure that, hey, it's there. It's been waiting on the sidelines for you. Time to implement this strategy and make adjustments. So I think a really big thing to know is when folks come in and meet and visit with us, it's not just like we set them up a plan and take care of it and bye, see you later, see you in a few years. It's very ongoing, right? So it's updates, news feeds, education on a weekly or monthly basis, visiting with them, talking to them, seeing them. So we do this together. You're not in this on your own, and it is ever changing. And because it's changing, we need to be pretty active with the clients and the households that we serve. So go to the website, take a look at wealthmichigan.com. Call the office here at 877-222-8849. And let's look through each of these pieces because you don't have to do it alone. We're happy to help you and walk through this together.
So there's so many moving parts. You go back to 2000, right? We're into the 90s. Boy, the dot-com bubble was bursting. Well, after that, 2000, 2002, it burst, right? So then we had 9/11. Then we go to the Great Recession, 07 to 09. Then things are pretty good in the markets and everything. Money's good. Everything's flowing the right way. And then we hit COVID. Then 2022, we have a terrible year in the markets. 2023 and forward might be a little bumpy for a while. The idea is, what do you need to live out your best retirement, your best life? And that's what Mindy and Dolan are here to help you figure out. How can we do it? That's really what we want to know. We're going to be okay. 877-222-8849. 877-222-8849. No cost, no obligation, no pressure. 877-222-8849. Back with our final segment of today's Wealth Michigan with Mindy and Nolan. Back right after this.
To learn more about the team at McIntosh & Associates, check out their website anytime at wealthmichigan.com.
Glad you're with us for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Mindy McIntosh started the company back in 2004. Nolan McIntosh joined the team in 2018. I'm Mark Elliott. Glad you're with us. You can find out more on the website, wealthmichigan.com, located in Freeland, serving the Tri-City area. The team is here to help you. What do you need to make you a little bit more comfortable and confident, have more clarity moving forward in retirement? Wealthmichigan.com to find out more about the team. A lot of great information on that website as well. And then, of course, you can always call with questions, or you want to sit down and go, boy, I'd like to go through that process. I like the Dream Focused Wealth Plan idea. I've never really thought of retirement covering all those pillars: income, investment, taxes, healthcare, legacy planning, Social Security, Medicare. It's a lot of stuff. 877-222-8849, 877-222-8849. All right, final segment's always a quick one, a short one, but it's always important. Mindy, we're going to be talking a little bit today about the retirement toolkit, I believe.
You bet. So, folks that are listening, I really say on this one, it's kind of attention to all that are listening, but really a good focus on baby boomers, Gen Xers. We have a toolkit that we'd love to send out to you. And by all means, you could stop by here, our office in Freeland at McIntosh & Associates, and pick one up. But our toolkit is a way for us to serve and to keep giving back to the community. And it kind of walks through different items in here. So it will have a book that I authored in there called Cultivate Wealth. And it's kind of nice to walk through segments of, kind of even a little bit of my childhood, some background, some things we can get in your hands. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about income planning and just walking through to make sure, we want to make sure that the listeners can have clarity and just thrive through not only their working years, but once they get to retirement. And I just want you to know that if you are looking at this for the future, then, you kind of come to the right place to be able to listen to some items and get some things in your hand. So we'd love to get you the toolkit. You can do so in a few different ways. If you're like, toolkit, I want to check out, what does this have to do with a book and cultivating my wealth? You can go to retirereadywsgw.com. If you go to that link, you will see information on the toolkit. You can go ahead and click a box in there. It says, send me my toolkit. We just need your name and address on there. We will get that out to you so that you can start walking through what might the next journeys look like for you. And it will send to you. We usually ship it out within 24 hours. And it will just kind of walk through some things that I think are really important as you plan for many years in retirement and a hopeful future for you. So again, go to retirereadywsgw.com or come to the office here. Or if you want to call and talk a little bit more about what that might look like, you can reach out to us here at 877-222-8849. But I really just want to help folks walk through what would their journey look like via cultivating wealth and focusing on what's important to you. And so you can thrive and have a nice smile throughout retirement.
Yeah, it's a great, easy read. And Mindy's been working on this book for, 2 years now. So we're, again, here at the office, very proud of, the hard work that she put into this and just really kind of poured her heart into it, and just really how we help our clients and, kind of where she came from. So that way you can understand, because I think that's important, right? In order to have a relationship with somebody, you have to know some personal things about them. And so she pours some of her, past into why she does what she does now. And obviously how she serves our current client family. Just a great book, I think. Obviously, I've read it and just really proud of her. And so, yeah, it's free to our listeners, free to anybody that wants to come in and get it. It's like I said, nice, easy read. And hopefully, you guys enjoy it as much as I did. And hopefully, enjoy it as much as Mindy did, making the book for our clients and prospective clients and hopefully gets our community in the right step forward.
So, Mindy, the website again?
The website again that you can go to is retirereadywsgw.com. That's retirereadywsgw.com. And looking forward to getting you the toolkit.
So you get the toolkit, you get Mindy's book, Cultivating Your Wealth, a lot of great information. It's really an opportunity for you to kind of do your own due diligence and research and learn about retirement, some of the things that maybe you're not aware of. Great opportunity. Of course, you can always call the team as well, 877-222-8849, 877-222-8849. And check out the website as well, wealthmichigan.com. Mindy, Nolan, enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Have a great week. We'll do it again next week.
Investment advisory products and services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, AEWM, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through the insurance business McIntosh & Associates. McIntosh & Associates Financial is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through AE Wealth Management, LLC, AEWM, a registered investment advisor. AEWM does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by McIntosh & Associates are not subject to investment advisor requirements. AEWM and McIntosh & Associates are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This radio show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. McIntosh & Associates Financial is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by McIntosh & Associates Financial. This radio show is a paid placement.